here with another makeup look, and this one is a more simpler and quicker because it's my everyday makeup routine. I can proudly say that it's my everyday makeup because I have been doing this for a month now. Before that, I did not have an everyday makeup look. I used to not do my makeup look every single day. I would just do it on weekends or special occasions, but I took it upon myself to give myself those 10 to 15 minutes every day because I deserve it, and we all do. And really quickly, it does make a difference on how you feel for the rest of the day. I knew that. I just chose to have more sleep. But anyways, I am pretty sure you're here to see the process of it, and if you're interested in seeing my everyday makeup look, just keep on watching. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, I still use the Poreless Putty Primer by e.l.f. just because I do pull my concealer a little bit lower and my pores are very prominent, so adding just a tiny bit of product, even though it's like if it's not the same color of my skin, it will show through, because especially if you pay attention underneath here, I have a little bit of a pink undertone there. So since I'm adding concealer, which is this shade over here, it will show very well. So I do try to add the putty primer so it kind of like helps me blend the concealer a little bit more on these areas. Now for everyday makeup, I don't usually color correct, and that is again for the face mask. But if I weren't to use a face mask, I can't speak. But if I weren't to use a face mask, I think I would probably color correct every single day. The only coverage that I'm gonna have on my face is going to be this one, the Born This Way Multi Sculpting Concealer by Too Faced. I like this one because again, it is a multi sculpting concealer. So I apply this on my under eyes, and I apply a good amount to be able to spread it out to the rest of my face. I don't really focus on covering too much because again, it's every day, so I feel like taking up too much makeup every single day, it will just not do good for your skin. So I applied a good amount of this to be able to take it to the rest of my face, not too much of course, because this is really creamy and also very full coverage, so I gotta be careful with it as well. Okay, now because I'm always in a rush in the morning and I'm just trying not to get up, like I try to prolong my time in bed the most that I can, which I shouldn't, because I used to stretch every single morning, and now I feel like I need to get back at giving myself those 30 minutes of stretching my body because I'm starting to feel it. Anyways, so again, because I'm always in a rush in the morning, I just use a brush to blend everything. The brush that I'm going to be using, which is the one that I use every single day, it's a e.l.f. Flawless Concealer, and I just literally blend it in those areas. Once I have covered that area, then I start spreading it out to the rest of my face. Even if it doesn't reach the rest of my face, I am personally okay with that. Do you guys see the difference? I feel so much more comfortable with this, and even though you can see that my whole face is not covered, but it looks natural and simple. But at the same time, the fact that I'm not taking this concealer all over my face and adding enough to cover the rest of my face, it's also making it look a little bit more natural, which I like. Now, this is literally what I do every single day when I'm gonna go to work, even if I am gonna wear the mask, or unless I am trying to save up time, or if I slept a little too much, then I just do my under eye. But the rest, like around my mouth, and I do also like take whatever is left over on the brush, I do take it to over my lid, which I wouldn't really recommend, especially for this type of concealer, because it can crease. But I just do it because I don't have time, and honestly, like, it creasing, sometimes I don't really care for it. But in all honesty, that's what I do. Sometimes, and not always, but sometimes I do add a little bit of CoverGirl Lid Lock Up, and it kind of mixes with that concealer. I like that the concealer actually like gives you some coverage, and this also helps you with whatever eyeshadow you're going to be using. I feel like I'm too quiet today. Like I'm too formal, maybe. I don't know. I feel like a little too quiet today. And as you can see, I blended with my fingers, my ring fingers. Okay, before I go ahead and add some setting powder. For setting powder, I typically use the RCMA setting powder, and that's just easier for me to on the daily basis. I also apply it with the brush just because, again, I'm in a rush and I'm just trying to get things done. I don't have time to use like the sponge and be really precise with it. So I just set my under eyes. And as always, I make sure to add it and make sure I really focus on the areas where I typically get oily. Whatever is left over, I do use it to set around my mouth. Like I typically don't set around my mouth if I'm not gonna be wearing a face mask, because around my mouth gets really dry. But since I am using the face mask, I really need to set it because it will be removed a lot quicker. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't do anything else for coverage. The only thing I add for my complexion is going to be bronzer. I don't contour or anything. I just use the bronzer as contour. So the one that I do use on a daily basis is this one by Maybelline Fit Me. It's a pressed powder foundation, but I use it as bronzer. The shade that I feel suits me better is 355 in Coconut, and this is just the Set and Smooth line. So I just apply that again with the brush, and I apply that on the areas where I would bronze or contour. Now I don't need to add too much on my forehead because I didn't add anything over here anyway. I just added the concealer here. So it kind of looks like I already had a bronzer because my forehead is typically darker than the rest of my face. So I just add a tiny bit to kind of like blend that concealer that I did add previously. Now I just apply a little bit over my nose. I don't try to go with this specific brush because I'm in a rush again. It's just adding a little bit of form and shape to my nose. That's it. Now for blush, I just add a little bit of this Maybelline Fit Me blush in the shade Pink Rose. This is a very light. I like it for that reason. And I just apply it on the top of my cheeks. Sometimes I do even skip this step, but if I have time, I just add it really quickly. Now for highlight, again, I like to be very subtle and natural for the daily. So for the highlight, I just use the Be My Highlight by Essence, which looks very natural in my opinion. And there you go. That is my complexion. Now I move on for the eyeshadow. For the eyeshadow, I do try to stick to natural tones or more neutral that fit with anything. So sometimes when I feel a little playful, I add some purple or greens because I know those make my eyes stand out. But I don't add it to the rest of my face. I just add it as a liner or just on the outer corner, and that's it. So this is the palette that I've been using for my everyday eyeshadow looks lately. This is a very everyday eyeshadow palette, but it also has some very playful shades because these are all shimmers, well, except for this one, but these are all shades that I could just be using on the daily when I don't really feel like being playful with the eyeshadow. I could just add some of that all over my lid and we're good. But I do like to add either 2 or 3 shades every day just to add some dimension to my eye. Now something that I do for my eyeshadow, especially because I feel like in the morning, or if we're always in a rush in the morning, we're trying to diminish the products that we're going to be using as much as we can. So I use whatever I use as a bronzer, I use that on my cut crease and just blend it all out. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to just use a blending brush, a big blending brush just like this one over here, and I apply it all over my eyelid. On the outer corners, I always make sure, especially if it's the same bronzer that I use, I always make sure to pull it out. I feel like that brings your eyes a little bit bigger, like it pulls your contour a little bit higher. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I like how it looks. Now, if I told you that I use the same shades every single day, I would be lying, because I like to play with different shades. Even though they're all light shades, I like to play with like different tones or shades every single day. I don't take the same eyeshadow every single day, just because I'm still looking for that one look that I want to be using at least for a long time. But for now, I keep experimenting every single day. Now I'm going to use this shade over here, which is called Panna Cotta, something like that. And I'm just using a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I just apply it all over my eyelid, just the eyelid. Now, as I said, I don't do the same eyeshadow every single day, but I do use the same steps and I do apply it in the same style every day, just like I'm showing you right now. So now for the outer lash line, which I usually do emphasize with a darker shade every time, no matter what color eyeshadow I am using. So I'm going to be using this brown over here and just apply it on the outer corner lash line. And as you can see, I do try to smoke it out to the rest of the eyeshadow, but always making sure I just leave the upper lash line a little bit more prominent. That way it adds more like a smoked out liner every time. And I personally like this look for every day. Now for the under eye, I go back with the bronzer and then I just apply it on the lower lash line with an eyeshadow brush. Now, I don't always add anything for the inner corner. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Again, depending on how much time I have and how playful I'm feeling. But right now, we actually do have time because we're not going to work right now. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this shade over here, which is called Pixie Dust. Now it doesn't really stand out, but again, I'm not trying to make things perfect when I'm just going to work. So if I were to go right now, I would just leave it like that. Now, as you can see, my eyebrows are not done. Typically, every time that I just start a video, my eyebrows are already done. But I wanted to follow this video through just as I would if I were actually going to work. So this is the exact process that I have when I do go to work. So my eyebrows are second to last. Always. And I don't try to do them perfect either. I just try to like make them more like eyebrows. So I just literally just fill in, and then if there's some hairs missing where like typically on the other eye I do have those hairs, and I just fill it in to make them a little bit more even. But I don't focus on making them any perfect. I just want to show that I have eyebrows. Now again, they're supposed to be sisters, not twins, because you can see, I tell myself that every time, because if I like try to make them even, like I can be there for days. Okay, and now I just move on to the lashes. Let me just curl them and add some mascara. Okay, and for my everyday mascara, I just use the Pumped Up Colossal Extra Volume, which is my favorite. Okay, this is all I do for my everyday makeup. I do add a little bit, a tiniest amount of lip balm. This is the Mario Badescu lip balm, which I love. This is my favorite for like just regular day, every day. But again, just a tiny amount just to keep my lips hydrated, because if I'm gonna be wearing the mask, I mean, who doesn't hate that feeling of like your lipstick or lip balm or lip gloss to like be on the mask? So I literally just apply it for my lips to not be dry or crusty. I don't keep applying it on like throughout the day, but at least to leave the house, I do make sure to add a tiny amount of this. But if I weren't to wear a mask and I would just be going out, I don't know, to the grocery store or just for the day, I would just use a regular lip gloss. This one's a Lifter Gloss by Maybelline in the shade Amber. Let me just apply that. And there we go. The final part, I do add some setting spray. The one that I'm going to be using right now is the Midnight Final Seal Matte Makeup Sealer. And I just apply that. Now be careful with this one because it can be really harsh on your face, like adding it like sudden. But just a tiny comment about this, letting you know this is a seal, like a final seal, like it's actually a seal. But anyways guys, this is my final look and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This is truly what I do every single day. Sometimes I miss 1 or 2 steps depending on how much time I have again, or how playful I'm feeling, or if I just chose to have a little bit more sleep than usual. But yes guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Maybe you can give me some suggestions of what you do or quick tips to get my makeup done a lot quicker in the mornings. I hope this tutorial helps you find a quicker way to do your makeup. I know I want to find quicker ways to do my makeup because I like my sleep. But yes guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also find me on Instagram as Arely Zavala, and hopefully I will see you on my next video. Bye.